Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith, and today I'm talking about Black Mouth by Ronald Malfi. This is from Titan Books. Very good publisher. So, Black Mouth. What's it about, you might be asking? Well, I think I'm just going to read the back cover copy because it's been a long day and I've had a headache for most of the day. So instead of trying to think, I'm just going to read. For nearly 2 decades, Jamie Warren has been running from darkness. He's haunted by a traumatic childhood and the guilt at having disappeared from his disabled brother's life. But then a series of unusual events reunites him with his estranged brother and their childhood friends, and none of them can deny the sense of fate that has seemingly drawn them back together. Nor can they deny the memories of that summer so long ago, the strange magic taught to them by an even stranger man, and the terrible act that has followed them all into adulthood. In the light of new danger, they must confront their past by facing their futures and hunting down a man who may very well be a monster. There you go. Back cover copy. For the too long didn't read folks, I gave this 5 out of 5. I believe, on Goodreads. Absolutely loved this. Huge fan of Ronald Malfi, or Ronald Damian Malfi, as he used to be known. And this book, nice thick story, reminded me a little in structure of It. Maybe because I just read It relatively recently, but it does jump back and forth between the past and the present. Jamie, for the most part, is the one telling the story. It's in first person, I would say, for the majority of the time. But there are sections where it is third person, where we focus a little bit on his two childhood friends and Mia, I believe her name um, is a movie director, and Clay, let's make sure that is, yes, Clay, their other friend, is a counselor, a social worker with kids. And so some of the chapters follow Clay, some of the chapters follow Mia, and some of the chapters follow another character that I'm not going to tell you about. But most of it is from Jamie's point of view. Jamie, not the most likable character out there. He has substance abuse issues and um, doesn't always make the best decisions. Comes off as kind of an asshole or a prick a lot of times. But I mean, that's what makes an interesting character. And Ronald Malfi writes very interesting, very different characters. Um, Jamie's brother, who I want to say is named Donald. Let's see. I think it's on the first page. Dennis. Excuse me. His brother Dennis. As it says, how do they describe him? Disabled. Brother's life. It's a mental disability, and I always have a soft spot for that type of character because generally there is an innocence to that type of character. And as someone who's not a big fan of people in general, when you have an innocent person, it touches me, and I fear for what's going to happen to them because you could say that the grown ups, the I don't want to say normal people, um, understand actions and consequences and different things, and maybe they're what happens to them isn't necessarily deserved in an overall kind of thing, but they can understand it, they can understand why generally. And an innocent, I don't know if any of this is making sense, but an innocent character misses out on these things. They won't necessarily understand why something bad might happen to them. And so this is the character from whose name I don't remember from The Stand, and that's the first one that comes to mind. But there are plenty in stories, and they hit me hard when you got a character like this. And but Ronald Malfi doesn't pound you with it. He's not hitting you over the head with it. He's just Dennis is just a character in the story. Plus, he's a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so come on, you got to be on his side. Anyway, so the story unfolds with present day stuff going on, and then the past when Jamie and Mia and Clay were 11 years old. Dennis is 9 at that time. He's 2 years younger than Jamie. And something that happens this particular summer, and we get why I said that Jamie is a substance abuser and not necessarily a nice character. We can easily understand why he grew up or became, the person he is in the present day. We get some things from his past. And so Blackmouth is the name of the area where they live, the nickname of the area. So there were coal mines that collapsed, and so there's this great depression, and the trees are sort of growing out sideways now, and it looks like a big black mouth. So that's why that's called Blackmouth. Man, I'm very rambly here, but I'm trying to avoid any types of spoilers. So we get the story of what happened to Jamie and his friends and his brother when Jamie was 11, mixed in with what's going on now. Jamie has returned. It's in the very first sentence. His mother has died, and so he's returning to his hometown, and something's happened with his brother that I'm not going to spoil, but he's returning to his hometown. He doesn't want to. And somehow Clay and Mia end up coming back to the hometown as well because of certain things. And so they've come back together, and they're going to confront their past and maybe make the future a little better for everybody. It's incredibly well written. The characters are fantastic. There's some horrific things that happen here. There's the unnamed character, the person I don't want to talk about. Fascinating character. And it all works well. It comes together. It's a fantastic, heartfelt, horrifying read with well-developed characters in Ronald Malfi's very smooth prose style. I've been a fan pretty much of everything that I've read of his. I have quite a few of his other books that I haven't even read yet. Some of his older stuff, I believe, is coming back into print, so I can get some of that stuff that I missed out on. But Blackmouth, 5 out of 5. I loved it. Ronald Malfi, Titan Books. They've been putting out a bunch of his stuff lately. I think all his most recent stuff has been from Titan. I got a whole stack of them over there. That's it. That was really rambly. I don't know, but the story kind of rambles, jumping back and forth in time and following different characters. So yeah, that was my point. I did that on purpose. Yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, question for this video. I didn't call this a coming-of-age story. Well, let's talk about that. Is a coming-of-age story a story that takes place entirely as that character is coming of age? Or can it be a story that's when they were coming of age, you know what I'm talking about, mixed with like present day. Is The Stand, or not The Stand, excuse me, It, Stephen King's It, is that a coming of age story? A Boy's Life, is it Boy's Life or A Boy's Life? I think it's just Boy's Life. Robert McCammon, absolutely a coming of age story. I want to say Midnight Rain, James Newman, coming of age story. Ghoul by Brian Keene, coming of age story. The Body by Stephen King. And I think all of these, for the most part, take place as the character is coming of age. Now, they might be being told by the adult version of that character, but it's still just like The Body is just that summer. Ghoul is just that summer. Boy's Life, I believe it's, again, just that summer, but I don't remember. That's the one I've read least recently, if that makes sense. So, what constitutes a coming of age story? I guess that's my question. And I've sort of already put my answer out there. I didn't call this a coming of age story because although there are those elements with the stuff happening in the past, the biggest part of the story is what's happening now ish. So I don't know. And I'm not looking at, I took a quick glance at the blurbs. I didn't see coming of age anywhere on it. So let me know, how would you define a coming of age story? What is your favorite coming of age story? I know I'm going to get a lot of Boy's Life, The Body, that kind of thing. Maybe It, if people disagree with how I would define a coming of age story. Let me know all that in the comments below. My favorite, I really like The Ghoul, excuse me, by Brian Keene, but that's because Brian Keene and I are very close to the same age. He's slightly younger than I am, and it's one of those sort of semi-autobiographical or inspired by true things types of books, and so the age of the character and when it's taking place is essentially my age and when it's taking place. So it hit very close to home for me, except for the whole ghoul part. But I really do like Boy's Life and The Body, but I'm going to go with Ghoul, simply because of that personal connection. What about you? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here on the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. And if you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronan5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is Eric Smith 5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. If you're on Blue Sky, I am @EL Smith. That's all I have for you. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.